At the start of the story, we see a man standing by the seashore preparing some kind of ritual. He fills a bottle with seawater and leaves there. Then the scene changes and we see a group of people performing a mysterious ritual with an elderly man. Various parts of the old man's body had decayed horribly, causing him unbearable pain. But after completing a special ritual using an ancient knife, his body returned to normal.
A woman present there gets angry at the whole scene and walks away. Then, in the present time, we see a young woman named Ari sitting beside her sick mother, praying. Her mother is lying in bed. At that moment, her elder brother arrives and says, "Ari, are you still not done? Hurry up, otherwise we'll miss the serial. I also need to go to work." After that, they arrive at a place where many people have brought their sick relatives for treatment. Ari and her brother have also brought their mother there for treatment. An employee asks them to fill out some paperwork first. Ari's mother's foot condition was very bad. It had decayed. However, the place didn't look like a hospital. From Ari's expression, it was clear she wasn't at all happy about bringing her mother here. It was probably her brother's decision. Finally, it's their mother's turn for treatment. An elderly tantric or magic guru is performing the treatment there. He lays Ari's mother on a cot and draws the curtain. Then he brings his ancient magical knife and starts drawing some kind of chanting mantra or mystical symbols on her back. This causes Ari's mother immense pain. But Ari's brother suddenly sees a strange vision. In his eyes, it seems as if an ancient king-like figure is standing in the tantric guru's place, licking the wounds on Ari's mother's back. At that very moment, their mother's horrific foot wounds miraculously begin to heal. He felt as if someone was strangely following him or watching him. After the treatment, their mother's foot is completely cured and she can walk normally again. Then, the tantric guru gives them a talisman or sacred object, saying that keeping it in the house will protect them from evil forces or negative influences. They pay the treatment fee to a man at the front and return home. After reaching home, Anu suddenly sees a package at the front door. Out of curiosity, he opens it, but what he sees inside terrifies him. Inside the package is a severed human finger. It seemed like a horrifying warning sent by someone. Later, Anu hangs the talismans, which the tantric guru had given them, inside the house and at the front door to protect against evil forces or supernatural entities. But his sister Ari doesn't really believe in these things. She is religious and believes in worshiping God. Still, she doesn't stop her brother.
Next, we see Anu at his workplace. He works at an antique and rare items shop. There, his boss is explaining about an ancient knife to a customer. When Anu arrives, the boss asks him to explain the rest. But the customer is very picky. He only buys rare and valuable items. Not finding anything to his liking, he leaves. After the customer leaves, the boss scolds Anu. He says Anu often arrives late. He warns him that if this continues, how will he increase sales? He also warns that if he's late again, he'll be fired. Later, Anu is walking through the market. Suddenly, two loan sharks stop a car and approach him. Seeing them, Anu tries to run away, but eventually gets caught. They take him to their boss. Actually, Anu had borrowed a lot of money for his mother's treatment, but now he can't pay back the interest on that loan. So the loan sharks beat him up and threaten him to arrange the money quickly and repay the debt. On the other hand, an elderly man visits the tantric guru at his house. He asks why he hasn't seen his daughter for a long time. The tantric guru replies that his daughter no longer lives there. She got angry with him and left because she got involved in various problems due to her father's work. So she lives separately outside. However, the tantric guru still hopes that one day his daughter will understand and accept him because his profession is leading him to success. Countless people come to him for treatment every day. Meanwhile, Ari and her mother are praying. At that time, Anu returns home and sees that the protective talisman kept inside the house is missing. He asks his sister, "Did you throw this away?" Ari says yes, she threw it away because she doesn't believe in these things and the object makes her uncomfortable. Hearing this, Anu goes outside, retrieves the talisman from the dustbin and puts it back in its place. Then he gives his recently received salary to his sister to manage household expenses. After that, he goes to his room to rest. But his mind is very restless. His salary is very low, and on top of that, he has a huge debt to the loan sharks. If he can't arrange the money quickly, the loan sharks might even kill him. In the midst of these thoughts, he remembers the Tantric Guru's house. So many people come there every day that surely a lot of money must be accumulated there. That's when the idea of theft comes to his mind.
At night, he secretly breaks into the Tantric Guru's house. He assumed the money was kept in a special box. Searching around, he finds a box inside a cupboard. As he tries to pull the box out, he sees a long cloth wrapped around it. He starts pulling the cloth. But the cloth seems endless. The more he pulls, the more comes out. Suddenly, a terrifying ghostly spirit emerges from the cupboard and lunges at him. Terrified, Anu is almost frozen. He quickly grabs the box and flees from there, returning to his own home. Back home, he opens the box and is disappointed because there was no money inside. Instead, it contained the ancient knife that the Tantric Guru used during treatments. Frustrated, he hides the box and the cloth under his bed. Then he lies down with deep worry. After some time, he suddenly hears loud scratching sounds at the door. The matter was very strange. He asked several times, but no one from outside answered. Finally, he gets up, opens the door and looks outside. Just then, a terrifying creepy song or sound starts to echo from a distance. As Anu opens the door and looks outside, he hears a terrifying song or sound. Then he sees a woman dressed in ancient clothing dancing strangely inside his room. The surroundings suddenly grow dark. Anu tries to turn on the light, but that mysterious woman continues dancing. Anu screams and says, "Get out of my house! Who are you?" Just then, he sees the woman standing behind him. Her face is terrifying. Her eyes are completely white and she looks like a horrific spirit. Terrified, Anu is stunned. Suddenly, he wakes up in his own bed. He then realizes that all of this was a nightmare.
Afterwards, he remembers the ancient knife he had stolen. He starts thinking that surely there is some mysterious or supernatural power in this knife. Why would such strange events occur ever since he brought it home? The next morning, he takes the knife to his boss and asks him to examine it. Seeing the knife, the boss is amazed and says, "I have never seen such an extraordinary ancient knife in my life. Every detail on it is crafted with perfection. I think it could be thousands of years old." Then he asks Anu where he got the knife. Anu lies and says he found it in an old box while cleaning the house. Perhaps it was something from his grandfather's time. He hides the real story, meaning the theft. The boss says the knife could fetch a lot of money if sold, but first he wants to know whether it is a sacred object or connected to an evil force. Saying this, he starts meditating and chanting some mantras to meditating with the supernatural world. But after a while, the items inside the shop start shaking abnormally. He opens his eyes in terror. Then he sternly tells Anu, "Take this knife out of my shop right now and never come back here." As a result, Anu not only lost the money, but also his job. Meanwhile, the true owner of the knife, the Tantric Guru, starts falling ill after losing it. He tells his younger brother, "Time is almost up. If the knife isn't found quickly, I will return to my previous horrific state and might die." As soon as he finishes speaking, his body starts decaying again. but his brother still couldn't find any trace of the magical knife. On the other hand, Anu returns home and sees the loan shark's men loading their household items onto a truck. At that point, his mother and sister learn for the first time that Anu is drowning in a huge debt. The loan sharks say even selling these things won't cover a fraction of the interest. Helpless, Anu offers them the ancient knife, requesting them to accept it in lieu of the debt. But they mock the knife as worthless. One man spits on the knife and throws it to the ground. Suddenly, the doors of the house close by themselves, and the knife seems to come alive, flying up into the air and hurtling straight towards the loan shark.
Then, under the influence of an invisible force, the man himself picks up the knife and horrifically cuts out his own tongue. The scene was so terrifying that everyone present there was frozen in fear. Afterwards, everyone finds out that Anu was the one who stole from the Tantric Guru's house. Upon learning this, his sister Ari becomes deeply disappointed. She couldn't believe that her brother could do such a thing. Then their mother tells Anu, "Listen to your sister. No matter how much we suffer, we should never steal from others. Return the knife to its true owner." Meanwhile, at the Tantric Guru's house, his daughter arrives on a motorcycle to see her father. She sees that her father's physical condition is deteriorating rapidly. Then her father tells his daughter, "This might be the last time I see your face. My life is probably ending here. But I want to ask for your forgiveness one last time." This shows that there is a deep hidden wound or conflict in the father-daughter relationship. On the other hand, at Ari's request, Anu finally decides to return the knife. He sets off with the knife. But as he gets close to the Tantric Guru's house, he remembers that a wealthy collector had offered a huge sum of money for this knife. Overcome by greed, he changes his mind again and decides to sell the knife. As soon as he shows the knife, the person becomes even more fascinated and agrees to pay 50 million rupees without any bargaining. He places the knife in a glass cabinet and goes to get the money for Anu. But just then, the knife starts shaking. In the next moment, it flies on its own, attacks the man and kills him. Hearing the screams, Anu rushes over and sees the man lying dead, with the knife being the cause of his death. Terrified, Anu still picks up the knife and quickly flees from there. Meanwhile, the Tantric Guru's daughter is looking at an old photo album. Seeing the photos brings back memories of her childhood.
In a flashback, we see that when she was little, her mother fell critically ill. No doctor could save her. Desperate, her father went to the seashore and performed a terrifying tantric ritual. He prayed to a demonic entity, asking for power that would allow him to magically heal people. Then, he meditated by the sea for 7 days and 7 nights. Finally, the 7 nights responded to his call and gave him a magical knife with which he could treat people. But there was a terrifying condition in exchange. He and his daughter would have to become the heirs or carriers of that evil power. And that's where the story of their family's cursed life begins. After getting the knife, he quickly returned home to try and save his wife. But unfortunately, his wife died before he could arrive. His wife died before the demonic entity possessed his daughter's body and said, "You are the one who made the pact with us. There's no turning back now. Your daughter's blood must be sacrificed with this knife. Only then will she become the true heir." From this incident onwards, the daughter became extremely angry with her father. She couldn't accept that her father had made such a pact with evil spirits and dark forces. Later, the Tantric Guru died. On the other hand, Anu becomes desperate for money, so he tries to sell the knife again. This time, he takes it to a local, influential gang leader and offers it in exchange for his debt. At first, the gang leader didn't understand the knife's value. Anu then advises him to take a picture of the knife and post it online for sale. Within minutes of posting the ad, numerous buyers started offering huge sums of money. Impressed, the gang leader accepts the knife and waives Anu's debt. But shortly after Anu leaves, a terrible event occurs. The knife moves on its own again and brutally kills the gang leader and his men.
Anu flees from there in terror. This time, he didn't take the knife with him either. Meanwhile, after the Tantric Guru's death, Aruni's mother falls ill again. Her foot starts decaying just as before. Returning home, Aruni sees Anu and asks, "What's happening to our family? Why are such strange things happening?" But Anu is very tired. He only says, "Let me rest for a while. I returned the knife. Don't bother me about all this." But a little later, Aruni opens a cupboard and sees that the knife's box is still there. She opens the box and finds the knife inside. Anu is very surprised by this. Because he had left the knife with the gang leader. Angry, Aruni takes the knife and throws it outside. But returning inside, they see the knife is back in the box just as before. It becomes clear that this cursed knife cannot be easily discarded. Just then, the whole house goes dark, and the spirit of that demonic entity appears before them. It says in a terrifying voice, "You cannot escape from me. Selfish people are worthy of being my followers." Even though terrified, Anu grabs the knife and strikes the spirit. But as soon as he strikes, a horrifying truth is revealed. The demonic entity's form vanishes and Aruni is seen there instead. Meaning, he had mistakenly stabbed his own sister. Aruni is severely wounded.
After all these horrifying events, Anu finally decides to return the knife to its true owner. But when he gets there, he sees that it's too late, because the owner of the knife, the Tantric Guru, has already passed away. Then his daughter meets with Anu. Anu apologizes for his mistake. The girl tells him, "Just returning the knife won't end everything. You have already become entangled with the demonic spirit within this knife. To get free, you must perform a special purification ritual for yourself in your house." Then she tells Anu to go home and says she will come later to perform the purification ceremony. But the girl's uncle, the Tantric Guru's brother, objects to this decision. He says, "Our family has carried this curse for a long time. It wouldn't be right to transfer this curse onto another family." But the girl doesn't heed his words. She says this is the only way she can free herself from this curse. Later, it's revealed that the girl was actually deceiving Anu. The ceremony she mentioned wasn't a purification ritual at all. Instead, it was a ritual meant to transfer the demonic inheritance or curse onto Anu and his family. On the appointed day, she goes to Anu's house and starts the ritual, but her uncle goes to Ari and reveals the whole truth. He says his niece actually wants to remove the curse from her own family and push it onto Anu's family. Hearing this, Ari rushes over to stop the ceremony, but by then, it's too late. At that moment, the demon possessing the girl warns Ari. Anu has already entered the world of the demonic jinns. On the other side, Anu has already his brother, while the healer's brother struggles to stop the possessed girl. A terrifying battle breaks out between them. However, during the fight, the demon severely injures the healer's brother and then slowly begins moving towards Ari. Just then, the healer's brother grabs the demon's hand tightly. Seeing this, the demon slowly turns towards him. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Ari attacks the girl from behind and his uncle stabs her in the neck with a knife. The girl dies instantly. Meanwhile, in the world of the jinns, Anu is seated on a throne. She is then bathed in blood and a royal crown is placed upon her head. After that, a special object is brought before her. If she accepts it, she will become the heir to limitless power and the bearer of the curse that comes with it.
But Anu does not want to accept it. Her hand trembles with hesitation. Back in the real world, Ari continues trying to wake his brother. But no matter what he does, his brother does not regain consciousness. At that moment, Ari begins to pray. Soon after, his brother finally regains consciousness. At last, they seem to have escaped that horrifying ordeal. However, one question remains. Did they really survive? Did Anu accept the inheritance? At the very end of the story, a beautiful family photograph can be seen hanging on the wall. The place where the healer's talisman once hung is now occupied by a sacred prayer. The family is then shown praying together, but behind them, inside a box, the mysterious object of inheritance can still be seen. This means that even though Anu did not want to accept it, the demonic jinns forced her to do so. So what will happen to Anu and her family now? The answer remains unknown.